Putin almost died. Coughed, stumbled, and re-recorded takes. Kremlin declares international law dead as Russia pivots to raw military potential. And how Trump defends spike in oil prices after Iran escalation. The latest news next. Had a tickle in his throat, nearly coughed. Kremlin releases unedited video of Putin congratulating Russian women on March 8th. The Kremlin press service has published an unedited recording of Vladimir Putin's video addressed to Russian women ahead of International Women's Day, noted that publication agency. The 6-minute, 90-second clip appeared on the Telegram channel of the Russian president's press service on the night of March 8th. In the video, Putin delivers the congratulatory message twice. After the first attempt, he coughed, complained of a tickle in his throat, and requested that the speech be re-recorded.
Let me say it once more because I had a tickle in my throat. Yes, a tickle. I almost coughed. I've been speaking a lot today.
The full version of the video was removed just 4 minutes after publication, reports agency. 20 minutes later, the Kremlin posted an edited version of the video, lasting 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Some government agencies and pro-Kremlin media managed to repost the unedited version. Soon after, they also removed it and published the new version. In some Telegram channels, the original version has been preserved. The press secretary of the leader of Russia, Dmitry Peskov, stated that the norms and principles of international law are effectively no longer in effect, all because of the war with Iran, according to a report in Russian media. In a comment to Russian propagandist Pavel Zarubin, published on Telegram, Peskov noted that
we have all, in a sense, lost what we call international law. Honestly, right now, I don't even understand how to call on anyone to comply with the norms and principles of international law. It effectively no longer exists. De jure, it is there, but de facto, it is gone. And what kind of law has taken the place of international law? It's unlikely anyone can formulate that now.
Where Russia ends and international law begins. Oh wait, never mind. So the lines between what's legal, what's normative, and what simply serves Russia's interests completely blurred. One might even say that international law now exists only as a polite suggestion, unless, of course, it interferes with Moscow's perfect storm of national priorities. Destabilization in the Middle East. The Kremlin press secretary attributed this to the significant destabilization of the region caused by the cumulative effect of numerous conflicts and unresolved problems which are resulting in economic and political consequences. According to him, the current situation is creating a perfect storm in which it is necessary to concentrate on one's own interest. About focus on Russia's national interests, Peskov emphasized that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin is right to focus on national interests.
Against the backdrop of this perfect storm that has now begun, we need to focus on ourselves, on our interests, on our potential. Where it is lacking, it needs to be built up, and we need to think clearly with our heads and stay focused.
Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated that Tehran officially confirms its close partnership with Russia and rules out the possibility of concluding a truce with Israel. Russian units continue to recruit Russian citizens, promising large payments and service in Africa, but in reality their recruits are sent to the front in Ukraine despite the promises made to them. US President Donald Trump stated that the temporary rise in oil prices due to the escalation of the conflict with Iran is justified, according to his post on Truth Social. In the White House chief's opinion, after the elimination of the nuclear threat from Tehran, energy prices will quickly return to their previous level. Short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for USA and world safety and peace, Trump noted, adding in response to criticism, only fools would think differently. Sharp surge in quotations. According to the BBC News, Russian service oil prices exceeded $100 per barrel after the weekend. Brent crude rose by 18% to $108.68, while US WTI increased by nearly 20% to $108 per barrel. This is the sharpest rise since February 2022, when oil prices also surpassed the $100 mark following the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Reasons for the price hike. The increase in oil prices is linked to reduced production by major producers in the Middle East and the effective blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the key routes for oil and gas supplies. The escalation of the US-Israeli conflict with Iran has intensified investor fears regarding potential long-term supply disruptions, which caused the sharp jump in quotations on global markets. About prospect of lower prices, Trump emphasized that after eliminating the threat of Iran's nuclear weapons, global oil prices will quickly drop, which will help stabilize the market. According to him, the short-term price increase is the price of safety and peace for the US and the entire world. US Secretary of Energy Chris Wright emphasized that Washington maintains its sanctions policy against Russia and the current relaxations in oil supplies will be temporary. US Secretary of Energy Chris Wright stated that Washington does not intend to abandon its sanctions policy against Russia. According to him, the current easing of restrictions on oil will be short-lived. He made these remarks in a comment to CNN. As is known, the US recently granted India a 30-day waiver to purchase Russian oil due to a shortage arising amid US operations against Iran. For this reason, the host asked whether this move, at least in the short term, undermines the US goal of isolating Russia and making allies less dependent on Russian oil. Wright responded as follows.
It is not. The United States policy towards Russia has not changed at all. India is very clear on that. They had displaced all Russian oil imports, and they were raising their imports from the United States, from Venezuela, and other nations. India has been a great partner through this.
Regarding this decision, he added that he, along with US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, called India, noting that there is currently a large volume of oil at sea awaiting unloading at Chinese refineries, instead of waiting 6 weeks for it to be offloaded. There, Washington proposed to unload it earlier at Indian refineries. Summarizing, Chris Wright said, the move had a specific purpose, but is temporary. The Energy Secretary concluded, let it be unloaded at Indian refineries to ease fears of an oil shortage, car price spikes, and address market concerns. This is simply a pragmatic, short-term solution. There is no change in our policy towards Russia. The US could further ease sanctions. Recall that yesterday, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stated that Washington does not rule out additional relief of sanctions on Russian oil to address global oil shortages caused by the military operation against Iran. According to him, the US is considering this option and will regularly announce measures aimed at alleviating market pressures. Ukraine sent intercepted drones and a team of experts to protect US military bases in Jordan, said Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in an interview with the New York Times. As the publication writes, citing the words of the president, the United States asked Kiev for help on March 5th, and the Ukrainian team departed the next day. According to Zelensky, its arrival in the Middle East is expected in the near future. Zelensky noted, "We reacted immediately. I said, yes, of course, we will send our experts." The president stressed that Ukraine wants to help Middle East countries, but at the same time must balance such requests with its own needs. According to the head of the state, in the first days after the start of the US-Israeli war in Iran, he and his team received calls from leaders of Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia asking for help.
The war in Iran could cut off flows of defensive weapons that Ukraine badly needs. Kyiv has offered to trade its interceptor drones to Middle Eastern countries for more powerful systems that Ukraine needs to contend with Russian ballistic missiles.
Ukraine also stated that it is ready to help Middle East countries in exchange for diplomatic support to encourage Russia toward a ceasefire, the material adds. Why Ukrainian intercepted drones are advantageous? Most Ukrainian interceptor drones cost only a few $1,000s or even less. For comparison, PAC-3 missiles used by the Patriot air defense system can cost about $4 million per unit and are used to intercept enemy missiles. At the same time, one Shahed kamikaze drone is estimated at $30,000. As Western media write, the US and at least one more Gulf country, later it became known as Qatar, are negotiating the purchase of Ukrainian interceptor drones to shoot down Iranian Shahed drones more cheaply. Ukrainian defense forces delivered a powerful strike on the occupied Donetsk airport, destroying enemy equipment and foiling Russia's plans for another assault, OSINT Project Kyberboroshno reports. About operation details, media reports indicate that a combined attack against the strategic target was carried out using Western weapons, including ATACMS and Storm Shadow missiles. Analysis of footage from the scene suggests that the strike was extremely well-timed. The report notes, new footage confirms that the attack occurred during preparations for the next strike. A large number of drones were observed on the territory. The reconnaissance and fire correction in the airport zone were provided directly by the Buntar-3 drone. Strike's aftermath. Thanks to the precise hits, Ukrainian forces were able to neutralize a significant cluster of drones that Russian troops were preparing for launch. The full scale of enemy personnel and equipment losses is still being assessed. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Support Ukraine, like and subscribe.